For most of modern life, your money does not disappear in one dramatic moment. It disappears quietly, not in a casino, not in a failed investment, not because you bought one stupid thing and ruined everything. It leaves through normal details: a $12.99 subscription, a delivery fee, a late charge, a free trial that became permanent, a paycheck that lands on Friday and already belongs to bills before you touch it. And because each piece looks small, most people ignore it. They fear the obvious threats: rent, medical bills, car repairs, a layoff, a credit card balance that keeps growing in the dark. But almost nobody looks at a $5 convenience fee and imagines it can become a system that trains their entire financial life. But what happened next changed everything. Companies learned that the best way to take money from ordinary people was not to ask for a large decision. It was to remove the feeling of decision completely. Auto pay, one-click checkout, buy now, pay later, stored cards, monthly plans, smooth apps. No cash leaving your hand, no pause at the register, no pain in the moment. Same purchase, different nervous system. Research has shown that people spend more when payment feels less visible. Credit cards reduce friction. Digital wallets reduce it even more. Subscription studies have found that many consumers underestimate what they pay every month, sometimes by a shocking margin. They think the damage is small because each charge is small. And here is the disturbing part. Your paycheck may be the biggest income event of your month, but it enters an environment built to absorb it before you can make a clear choice. The bank app says you were paid, then rent moves, insurance moves, streaming moves, food delivery moves, interest moves. The number changes, but there is no story attached to it, just a lower balance and a quiet feeling that you must have done something wrong. That feeling is profitable. So the real question is not whether you make enough money. Not yet. The first question is whether your money is being directed by you or by systems that learned your habits better than you did. Look at your last 7 days of spending. What is the one charge you barely noticed, but probably should have? Comment it, because that tiny number may be where the whole story starts. Look at the ordinary paycheck. It lands on a Friday morning. The number looks safe for a few hours. Rent is not due yet. The grocery order has not gone through. The credit card autopay is still waiting in the background. So for a moment, it feels like progress. But what happened next is the part most people miss. Modern life trained us to gather our money in one place: a checking account, a payroll card, a digital wallet. Direct deposit made income fast, clean, and automatic. No envelope, no cash drawer, no physical separation between rent money, food money, debt money, and maybe I can spend this money. That one shift changed household finance quietly. For the first time, companies did not need to persuade you. Every single time you paid, they only needed permission once: a subscription, an autopay agreement, a saved card, a buy now pay later account. After that, the money could be reached again and again, often before you had emotionally registered that it was gone. And here is the disturbing part. A full paycheck sitting in one account does not just help you feel organized. It also creates a visible target. Banks can see deposits. Lenders can see payment behavior. Apps can time offers around cash flow. Retailers can push promotions when people are most likely to spend. The paycheck becomes less like a reward and more like a feeding schedule for everyone upstream. So the danger is not only low income, the danger is exposed income. Think about the first 72 hours after payday. Groceries rise because the fridge is empty. Gas goes in the car. A past due bill gets caught up. A minimum payment clears. Then come the quiet charges: $12 for streaming, $9 for cloud storage, $17 for a membership you forgot, $36 for an overdraft if the timing breaks the wrong way. Same paycheck, same labor, opposite results. One person uses the deposit to buy assets, reduce interest, and build a buffer. Another person watches the same deposit pass through their account like water through a drain. Not because they are lazy, because the system is designed to remove money at the exact moment it appears. The research keeps showing the pressure. Surveys from recent years have found that a large share of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, including many earning above middle income levels. The Federal Reserve has repeatedly reported that a significant number of adults would struggle to cover a sudden $400 emergency with cash or its equivalent. Credit card balances have pushed into record territory. Interest rates turned everyday balances into expensive traps. Now look at the small details on a bank statement. Coffee is not the whole story. The real damage is usually timing plus automation plus interest. A $6 purchase is visible. A 24% APR balance is less visible. A subscription is small. 10 subscriptions are a leak. A late fee is annoying. A late fee that triggers higher interest lower credit flexibility, and more expensive borrowing is a mechanism. This is why earning more does not always fix the problem. More income often invites more fixed expenses, a better apartment, a newer car, more insurance, more eating out because time is scarce, more convenience because exhaustion is real. The lifestyle expands first, then the margin disappears. And once the margin is gone, every emergency becomes debt. That is the trap, not poverty in the dramatic sense. Not collapse overnight, just a normal household with normal bills, normal habits, and a normal paycheck being intercepted by systems that are faster, more automated, and more patient than the person earning the money. So, the urgent question is simple. When your paycheck arrives, how much of it is already spoken for before you even touch it? Put the percentage in the comments, because that number tells a deeper story than the salary ever will. And eventually, households noticed something too. The tiny charges sitting quietly inside their bank statements were solving a problem for companies, a massive one. They made revenue predictable, so unlike the old model, where a business had to convince you to buy again and again, the new model entered your life through something much simpler: convenience. You tolerated the monthly payment because it removed friction. Music was just there. Storage was just there. Delivery was faster. The gym key still worked. The app remembered your card. Companies tolerated the low price because they were not selling one purchase anymore. They were renting a small corner of your paycheck every month. And slowly, over years, both sides adapted. The services that felt painless gained access to enormous amounts of household income. The payments that felt too large got canceled first. But the ones priced at $4.99, $9.99, $14.99 learned to stay below the alarm line. Generation after generation of billing cycles, the system quietly favored charges that could remain invisible. And here is the disturbing part. A $12 payment does not feel like a financial decision. It feels like background noise. But if it survives for 5 years, that one small payment becomes $720 before price hikes, taxes, and bundled upgrades. Add 3 or 4 of them, and suddenly the harmless line items are taking the same space as a utility bill. Research on consumer behavior keeps showing the same pattern. People feel the pain of paying less when money leaves automatically. The moment the card is saved, the brain stops treating each payment like a fresh choice. Same recognition, opposite results. You recognize a $90 grocery bill because it hits you at once. You question it, you compare prices, you feel it. But 6 separate $15 renewals can move through the same month without triggering the same defense. That is the mechanism, not fraud, not stupidity. Design. Your paycheck arrives on Friday, rent leaves first, insurance follows. Then phone, internet, streaming, delivery, cloud storage, software, memberships. By the time you ask, where did the money go? The answer is already broken into pieces too small to feel dangerous. So, here is the question. If you opened your bank app right now, which charge would you defend? And which one has been training you not to notice it? Look inside your home for a minute. Not at the couch, not at the fridge. Look at the money leaks. The phone bill renews before you think about it. The streaming charge lands at 2 a.m. The grocery app remembers the brand you bought once and places it near the top again. The card payment is split into 4 pieces, so the price feels smaller than it is. The paycheck arrives, then rent, insurance, utilities, debt, food, transport, and subscriptions move toward it from every direction. That is the part most people miss. Your budget is not only being broken by bad decisions, it is being hunted by systems designed to make each decision feel harmless. A coffee is not framed as $5. It is framed as a routine. A phone upgrade is not framed as $1,200. It is framed as $33 a month. A delivery fee is not shown as one full cost. It is broken into service fee, small order fee, driver tip, taxes, and a price increase hidden inside the menu itself. Same purchase, different packaging, same recognition, opposite results. Researchers have seen this for years. When costs are separated, delayed, or converted into monthly payments, people feel less pain at the moment of purchase. Credit cards do this. Buy now, pay later does this. Autopay does this. It removes the tiny moment where your brain asks, can I really afford this? And here is the disturbing part. Companies know that moment is dangerous to them, so they smooth it out. They reduce friction. They store your card. They offer one-click checkout. They send limited time alerts. They let you subscribe instead of decide. They turn one decision into a permanent drain. This is why 2 people can earn the same salary and live in totally different financial realities. One person sees the paycheck as income. The other sees it as a target. Rent takes its cut. Interest takes its cut. Apps take their cut. Inflation takes its cut. Then, the person wonders why working harder did not create breathing room. And it is not just a feeling. In the United States, Federal Reserve surveys have repeatedly shown that a large share of adults would struggle with an unexpected $400 expense. At the same time, billions of dollars move every year through overdraft fees, late fees, interest charges, and unused subscriptions. These are not rare disasters. They are small, repeatable transfers. But what happened next made it worse. The old money trap was obvious. You walked into a store, saw the price, and chose. The new money trap lives inside your daily rhythm. It waits inside your calendar. It charges quietly. It renews while you sleep. It turns your future income into collateral before you have even earned it. That is why the real question is not, why can't people save? The better question is, how much of your paycheck is already spoken for before it arrives? Check your last bank statement. Find the charge you forgot existed. Then tell me in the comments. What is the smallest monthly payment that has quietly stolen the most from you? So the damage usually does not start with one giant purchase. It starts with a normal Tuesday, a grocery run, a tank of gas, a phone bill, a $14 lunch because the morning ran too long. Then the paycheck arrives on Friday and everything looks fine. Again, the account is breathing. The danger feels gone. But what happened next is the part most people miss. Banks learned that ordinary timing gaps are profitable. Your rent is due before your paycheck clears. Your insurance renews before your bonus lands. Your card statement closes before you mentally add up the month. So the modern credit system does not need you to be reckless. It only needs you to be slightly early on expenses and slightly late on cash. That small gap became an industry. Credit cards were first sold as convenience, then as protection, then as rewards. And suddenly, a short-term payment tool became a passport through the entire economy. Hotels wanted it, airlines wanted it, online stores wanted it. Even if you had the cash, the system quietly trained you to swipe first and think later. And here is the disturbing part. The card is not mainly designed around what you buy. It is designed around what you carry. If you pay in full, the bank still makes money through merchant fees. But if you carry a balance, the machine changes shape. A dinner from last month becomes interest this month. A holiday gift becomes a payment plan. A $5,000 balance at an interest rate above 20% can turn into years of quiet extraction. If you only make minimum payments, same recognition, opposite results. To you, the card says access. To the lender, it says recurring yield. Now look at the score behind it. In the United States, the FICO scoring system became widely used after 1989. It turned personal behavior into a 3-digit number. Payment history became the largest piece, and amounts owed became another major piece. That means one late payment can follow you for years, and one high balance can make you look riskier, even if you have never missed a bill. This is where the system becomes counterintuitive. People think debt is punished only when they fail to pay, but the system also watches how close they live to the edge. Use too much of your available credit, and your score can drop before you ever default. Pay late once, and the penalty can outlive the thing you bought. Pay only the minimum, and the balance survives like it has its own pulse. So, a normal bill becomes more than a bill. It becomes a signal. Your car loan sees it, your mortgage lender sees it, and sometimes your landlord sees it. In some states and industries, insurers may use credit-based information when pricing policies. The number that began as a lending tool can reach into rent, transportation, and the basic cost of stability. That is why this matters. A household can have a decent income and still get trapped by timing. Not poverty, not luxury, just timing. The paycheck arrives, the bills attack first, and the card fills the gap. The balance rolls forward. Interest starts feeding on next month, before next month even begins. And then comes the emotional trick. Rewards make the machine feel friendly. Cash back, points, miles, a metal card, and a higher limit. It feels like status, and it feels like being trusted, but a higher limit is not a raise. It is a larger room inside the same cage if the balance keeps growing. Researchers at the Federal Reserve have tracked credit card debt, climbing past the $1 trillion level in the US. That is not just a Wall Street number. That is millions of kitchens, apartments, and payroll deposits being routed through the same narrow tunnel. Money comes in, minimum payments go out, and interest stays. So the decision is not just, should I buy this? The better question is colder. Will this purchase still be alive when the next bill arrives? Because if it is, the price tag was not the real price. The real price includes time, interest, stress, and lower credit flexibility. And the next decision you are forced to make from a weaker position. Now, here's the question worth asking in the comments. What is the one small monthly charge that looks harmless, but you know is quietly training your budget to obey it. That is why a normal paycheck can feel safe at 9 a.m. and already be wounded by noon. The money arrives, rent is waiting, the phone bill is waiting, and insurance is waiting. Then come the smaller cuts. A coffee app reloads itself, and a streaming service renews quietly. A buy now, pay later payment lands on a Tuesday you forgot existed. Nothing looks dramatic, and no single charge feels like the thing that broke you. But what happened next is the mechanism most people miss. Modern spending is not built around big decisions anymore. It is built around tiny defaults. Autopay, one-click checkout, stored cards, minimum payments, and free trials that become bills. The danger is not that you are careless one time. The danger is that your financial life starts making decisions while you are busy living. And here's the disturbing part. The companies do not need you to feel poor, they just need you to feel normal. Normal to carry a balance, normal to split groceries into payments, and normal to finance a phone. Normal to treat a monthly fee like it is not real money because it never touches your hands. The data backs this up. Credit card balances in the United States have climbed past the $1 trillion mark. Average credit card interest rates have sat above 20%. That means a $1,000 balance is not just a $1,000 problem. It becomes a machine. Quiet at first, then louder every month. Same paycheck, opposite results. One person gets paid and immediately gives every dollar a job. Rent, food, savings, debt, and investing. The money leaves, but it leaves under orders. Another person gets paid and lets the system decide. Apps pull, lenders pull, and subscriptions pull. By the end of the month, both people worked the same hours, but only one of them stayed in control. So the real question is not, how much do you make? The sharper question is this. When your paycheck hits, who gets to touch it first? You or the companies already lined up outside your bank account? Comment the first bill that attacks your paycheck every month. So this is where the story lands. Most people do not lose money in one dramatic moment. They lose it in quiet pieces. A delivery fee here, a subscription they forgot, and a credit card balance that survived another month. A paycheck that arrived on Friday and was already spoken for by Monday morning. And here's the disturbing part. The modern money system does not need you to be careless. It only needs you to be comfortable. That is the counterintuitive mechanism, where comfort turns into dependence. The app remembers your card, the bill auto-renews, and the loan breaks one painful price into 4 smaller ones. Same purchase, same income, opposite result. One version makes you pause. The other slips past your attention and becomes normal. The data keeps saying the same thing. The Federal Reserve has found that a large share of adults would struggle to cover a sudden $400 expense without borrowing or selling something. The New York Fed has tracked household debt in the trillions. Credit card balances do not grow because everyone is buying yachts. They grow because daily life has been engineered into small, repeatable payments. So the final judgment is simple. If your money does not have a job before the market gives it one, someone else will assign that job for you. Tonight, check 3 things. What leaves your account automatically? What costs you interest, and what you bought only because the payment looked small. Cancel one, renegotiate one, and pay down one. Not someday, but before the next paycheck gets absorbed. And now, I want to know, what is the one small monthly charge you found that was quietly training your bank account?